Girl, this guy's taking me out to a five-star restaurant on Friday. Oh, really? Is he hot? No, I'm not attracted to him in the slightest, but he approached me on the street. I was like really weirded out and he asked me to go to dinner. And I was like, sure, yeah. As long as we go to a really nice place. So I told him I would go, but that I would only accept eating Nobu. Oh, okay. I gotta start doing that too. I think I'm gonna go hop on Tinder and get some foodie dates going. You absolutely should. Like, I've been going out on so many foodie dates recently. Like, I can't afford this shit, but I'll make all these losers pay for it. Hey, they're just lucky to even be in my presence.
All right, well, today I wanted to talk about the phenomenon known as foodie dates and things to look out for and ideally how to prevent yourself from being a victim of a foodie date. I know a good amount of my subscribers probably are dating to some extent, and I would hate it if one of you got played like this. So I wanted to go over some ways to try and prevent this from happening. I think foodie dates have always happened, but with the rise of social media and dating apps, they've become much more prevalent in recent years. What some women do is they'll go on dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, you name it, with the sole intention of getting guys to buy them dinner and drinks. You'd be shocked how many women actually do this. Now, obviously, not all women go on dating apps for foodie dates, but there are a lot of women that do, especially in really big, expensive cities like New York, Miami, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, you name it. These types of cities are rife with foodie date queens. You'll be messaging the girl of your dreams on one of these apps, thinking that you've hit the jackpot, and they're literally thinking of using you for a quick meal and some quick drinks. I think this happens to mostly below average looking guys and average looking guys, mainly because I think women will see them as more easy prey for foodie dates for a lot of reasons, but mostly because they know that these guys aren't getting a lot of attention on the apps, as well as not getting a lot of attention in real life. So when these girls, suggest getting dinner, or these guys suggest, getting dinner to them, those guys are going to kind of jump at that opportunity. And I definitely think being the victim of foodie dates still happens to above average looking guys or even good looking guys, but it happens far, far less, I would say, because usually the girls will have some level of genuine physical attraction to them. So those girls don't view them in that way of trying to take advantage of them. And I also think more good looking guys just have much more experience with women and have more options. So by sheer volume, they're just less likely to be out on a date with someone who's not into them. It's like, picture as a good looking guy, you're getting like hundreds of matches per week or per month. And, if you're messaging a girl and she's not showing much interest back, well, you've got a lot of other women that are showing you interest. So you're going to be you're going to be going on dates with girls who are showing clear signs of interest and not women that are giving you one word answers. But as an average looking guy, below average looking, or even slightly above average looking guys, like guys who are between 4 and 6, when they message girls on dating apps, they're typically getting either one word answers or they're just not getting a lot of interest. So what tends to happen and what sets them up for the foodie date essentially is they'll kind of go back and forth, like, 4, 5, 6 messages with a girl, and the girl's really not giving them a whole lot. So then they say, okay, well, I'm going to ask them out on a date. And when they ask them on the date, those girls are thinking, some of them are thinking, all right, well, I'm not really into this guy, but, I'll let him take me out for dinner. I'll let him take me out for drinks, and just, see what happens. But they're really looking in a nutshell, they're looking to use those guys for free drinks and, free food. The crazy part about foodie dates is that you never really truly know if a girl was using you for free food or free drinks if after the date you don't talk to them anymore. Now, I didn't feel a spark text could have been legitimately from a girl who was semi-interested in you, but also could have been from a girl that had zero attraction to you at all, no interest, and was just using you for a free meal and some free drinks that weren't in her budget. You could also be like fairly attractive as a guy, and a girl may use you for a foodie date just because you may not be her type. Let's just say there's like a girl that likes the Quando Rondo, Little Dirk, like NBA YoungBoy like look on a guy, and you're just like some white guy, or you're like a Hispanic guy that she finds like not hideous, but you ask her out on a date, and she might agree to that, but in the back of her head, she's thinking about getting plowed by Quando Rondo, not Mr. Whitey McWhiteson. I would say foodie dates tend to happen most to guys that, like I said, are in the 4 to 6 range of attractiveness, where they're not so hideous to be seen out in public with. So the girl is not going to be like getting judged for being out with like a guy who's like a 3. But these guys typically, like I said, are below average, average looking, or maybe even slightly above average looking, where they don't hit that. Like the girl doesn't find them like super attractive, and they're not physically attractive enough for that girl to view them as a potential like long-term relationship or a potential hookup. It's really just comes down to like they don't mind being seen out in public with them, but they have virtually zero interest in them. But they know that those guys have a lot of interest in them, so they'll often, agree to get drinks or dinner with them. And this is probably one of the first signs of a foodie date. Red flag to look out for is them actually suggesting meeting up very quickly. So usually with online dating, guys usually will lead the conversation and suggest meeting up for a date. But a lot of the foodie date queens, these are the types of women that will suggest it first. When they suggest meeting up first before you did, and it's quick, like that same day, this is usually a telltale sign that there's a high likely chance that they want to use you for free drinks or free food. And, there are literally some women that will fill their calendar throughout the week with dates, lunch dates, dinner dates, just to get those free meals in with absolutely no interest at all in all of those guys. It's like really fucked up, but a lot of these girls would be in their early to mid 20s. But also there are some women that'll be like well into their 30s that, do these foodie dates as well. Another way that you can tell is, it could be a foodie date is just overall the level of interest from the woman. Like if they're replying with very little enthusiasm, or they're not really holding up a decent conversation, and then they suggest meeting for drinks or dinners, that's another telltale sign that, they're not interested, but they have interest in getting you to pay for them. Another obvious way to tell is if they suggest a fancy restaurant, or more of like an upscale place upscale type like wine bar or lounge. If a girl really likes you, I found that it doesn't really matter where you take them on a date. Most of the time, like if they like you and they're physically attracted to you, they'll be cool with pretty much whatever, honestly. Like I've taken girls to mini golf, ice cream, Dave and Buster's, walk in the park. It doesn't matter. If they're really genuinely attracted to you, it really doesn't matter where you take them on a first. And I remember the Cheesecake Factory girl putting that guy on blast on video for taking her to the Cheesecake Factory. And she was going to 100% use that guy for a free meal. But she just, she wasn't attracted to that guy, and she wanted a 5-star meal to be around him for a few hours. And it's honestly just such a disgusting phenomenon that happens to so many guys every single day. One major tip that I can give to kind of weed out, girls that are looking for foodie dates is to get them to hop on a FaceTime or phone call with you. Now, I can't say that this is 100% foolproof, but if a girl is trying to use you for free food or free drinks, she's not attracted to you, she's probably not going to want to hop on a FaceTime call with you. She'll probably decline or just not answer because she only views you as a transaction and not someone she's genuinely interested in pursuing romantically. So if you get a girl on a FaceTime or a phone call, she's probably not looking to use you for a foodie date. in the vast majority of cases. But if you do get a girl on a FaceTime or a phone call, you'll just be able to better gauge their level of attraction to you. And you'll be able to read their body language, see if they're showing signs of interest. And you can pretty much tell right away if they have that like genuine attraction to you and they're excited to be talking to you. So, if you have a 20 to 30 minute FaceTime or phone call with a girl, it doesn't have to be an hour, it doesn't have to be 2 hours. She probably isn't using you for free food or drinks. Obviously, there are exceptions to this, but doing this will save you a lot of time and money. Trust me on this. If you don't take any other advice that I give on this channel, try this. Like if you really want to avoid those foodie dates, getting a girl on a FaceTime or a phone call, this is going to be like very, very effective at avoiding, saving time too. Because the last thing you want to be doing is going on a date with a girl, with a girl who has zero physical attraction to you at the end of the day. But let's just say you don't do a FaceTime or you don't do a phone call with a girl and before the date, and you find yourself out with a girl and she isn't paying much attention to you, or she's on her phone, or just asking you like very basic questions and showing no signs of attraction, and you get the feeling like you're being played for a foodie date, there's absolutely no harm in ending that date and just paying your half and leaving. You can tell when a woman's using you for a foodie date. I would say I experienced this, I want to say maybe once or twice, mostly when I was in the process of like losing weight, kind of in the middle part of losing 100 pounds and restoring my hair, kind of in that part of my looks maxing journey. I think I experienced it twice, I would say. And, it doesn't happen to me anymore. It's certainly possible, but I'll usually do now, in the past, however many years, I usually almost always do a FaceTime or a phone call with a girl before I meet them for any sort of drinks or dinner. At the end of the day, don't feel the need to pay for a girl food or drinks if you get that feeling that she's using you for a foodie date. I don't think it's rude to, just pay your half if you get that vibe. I also think the problem with a cold approach sometimes is that guys will walk up to girls on the street, or they walk up to a girl at a bar that they find really attractive and offer to take them out to dinner right away, even if the girl isn't showing any signs of attraction to them. Like a lot of guys, when they do cold approach, they'll start with an opening line. They'll try to do certain things, but a lot of guys will just like walk up to a woman, point blank and say, "Hey, I wanted to introduce myself. Like, I'd love to take you out on a date sometime." I think that's great. Like, I think it's great to do that. If you see someone and you find them attractive, like I've done that before, like, I think that's great. But the problem with doing that is if they are not showing any signs that they're attracted to you back, that's probably not the person you want to take out on a date. Because imagine if you're like an attractive girl and some decent looking guy or guy you don't find repulsive like offers to take you out on a free dinner or free drinks. Like a lot of women, like especially if they're not doing so well financially, will take you up on that. But it's not because they're interested. It's because they realize like, oh, maybe they're low on groceries that week, and they're like, oh well, I'll get this guy to take me out to a nice dinner, and I won't have to worry about dinner on Wednesday, or free drinks. They're like, oh great, I'll just get free drinks. I'll get an appetizer, and then I'll bounce. Like, you want, ideally before you take a girl on a date, you want to see verifiable signs that they find you attractive. So on the FaceTime or in person, is the eye contact consistent? Are they asking you questions about your family, your friends, what you like? Are they twirling their hair? Are they touching you playfully? Like, are they calling you handsome? Like, these are the things you want to look for to see if they have that genuine physical attraction to you. And these are the types of girls you should meet up with for a date. If the girl isn't showing any sort of interest, this is not a good sign. And if you ask them on a date, it's probably going to be a case that they'll use you for free food or drinks and bounce. Well, if you've enjoyed this video and gotten some value out of it, feel free to give it a like. Feel free to comment down below any experience you have of foodie dates. And I hope you use this information to try to prevent those foodie dates, because like I said, hate to see one of my subscribers fall victim to this, as I did in the past. And until next time, take care.